Peterborough's community radio station, Salaam Radio, 106.2 FM.
Welcome to the Tech Factor, your weekly dive into the latest in technology trends and innovations. Joining me tonight are our tech-savvy hosts, Faisal, the VR aficionado, always pushing the boundaries of immersive experiences, Joel, the AI enthusiast, with a knack of unraveling the mysteries of machine learning algorithms, and Shamshad, our resident gadget guru, bringing you the latest on cutting-edge tech gadgets. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Hello, good evening. You sounded very smooth saying all those awesome things about us.
Yes, it's £5 each, by the way. That's £15 that I've just made.
Rehearsed.
Thank you very much indeed. I thought what you were going to say, these are all true facts about who you really are.
They are.
First of all, can I say it's great to have you
Glad
back.
to be back, yeah.
Yeah, it's been good. I know you've been off because of Ramadan, and hope that all went for you well for you as well. But it's great to be back in the studio with you all this evening. Now, our first topic is tech touchdowns, the evolution of sports technology. Today, we are exploring the dynamic fusion of technology and sports. From wearable trackers to instant replay systems, we'll dissect how tech is revolutionising the games we love. With Wimbledon around the corner, let's examine the tech shaping the future of sports. Now, we know, as people, obviously I've known you for a very long time, Joel, as well, that all of us like a different type of sport, whether it's football, whether it's tennis, wherever it may be. And what we've seen, certainly in the last 15 years, is the adoption of technology, which is either, well, they say it's to help the monitoring of the game. Okay, and in some cases it's worked, and in some cases it hasn't worked, and we'll go through that this evening as well. I think for me, the biggest game changer, the one that really worked straight off the bat before I open up the floor to yourselves, has been Hawkeye. I thought Hawkeye was absolutely fantastic for Wimbledon, very accurate as well, and that's then gone into other sports as well. But
what is that? Is it for people that don't know?
It's for tennis. So it's line technology,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
So wherever the ball lands, whether it's in or out of the line, it's very accurate. It can see and measure within seconds of where that ball has landed, and you get an almost instant decision about whether that's in or out. Now, that was really good for tennis because they were relying on humans, right? So they'd have those line judges, 3 at the back, on either side of the court, and then one either side there as well. And they would be your linesmen, right? Or umpires, or what are they called?
Yeah, umpires, I think.
No, you got the umpire in the chair, you got I did linesman? I'll tell you what, can somebody tell me the answer? Text me on 07411 191 1062, or call us on 01733 602 133, or comment on our live streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, or Twitch. I want to know, what are the names of the linesmen who officiate the tennis matches? Let me know. Now, over to you, Joel. Tell me about the evolution of tech in sports.
Yeah, so what I wanted to focus on is how technology nowadays is helping our athletes have a long sporting career. And a couple of things I wanted to focus on are things like the wearable trackers. So we've all got sort of smart watches that monitor our heart rates and things like that. But when it actually comes into professional sports, they kind of take that to the next level. So just recently, back in February, I was watching the rugby, and as we know, it's a very big contact sport. And the kind of tech that they've got now is they've actually got built into their gumshields, they've got like G meters, and it actually will flag it'll flag up to the officials if someone has had a big impact to their head and their jaws clamped together, and the actual mouth guard has got sensors in it that wirelessly tell someone that they need to go off and have a head injury inspection.
Wow.
Amazing.
Is that because of what's happened with concussion injuries and all the things that science and healthcare professionals have learnt from people who've played rugby and American football, and over the last decade or so, they've seen the deterioration of these super athletes, especially from a mental capacity perspective and general health? Is this what this is?
Absolutely, and the same kind of technology is in American football helmets as well, where concussion was a major problem for many years, and it can cut lots of professional athletes' career short, and that's not in the interest of anyone. It's certainly not in the interest of the athlete, and it's not in the interest of the sport as a whole either. But interestingly, I've got a question for yourselves as well around the concussion thing. At the moment, which 2 sports are the top sports for concussion?
Oh, this feels like a
It's
trick
good
question.
This could be a bit of a phone-in one as well.
About this, I just can't remember what it was.
It's two that
It's
you
not
would.
what you think,
It's
yeah.
two that you'd not think.
Okay, I'm
either.
going last. Faisal.
Oh,
I don't know. The one that came into my mind was boxing, but it's probably not that.
yeah.
Okay. Second.
I don't know.
Thinking now.
Can't think of wrestling.
So
That's a good shout. Wrestling is a very, very good shout.
So
Including WWE, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
cool. Okay. What about you, Sham?
So I was thinking like the similar thing. Boxing was the first thing that popped because literally that's where you're getting hit.
Yeah.
But the other one, I think I might have read about it. I might be wrong on this as well. But from my memory, was it football? I think it could have been football from headering the ball.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And that's
How have
really,
you
really
remembered
interesting.
something?
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
good.
Wait a second. Let me just go back to what I said he was.
Man. I should get a badge for that.
I did say you're a gadget guru. So okay, wow. Maybe you've got some sort of device for your memory now. That's
Selective.
actually really
Selective
memory. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's impressive. So
And
what have
that's
I got
interesting.
then?
Yeah, so football is one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. So what's number 2? Similar sort of game.
Okay. Oh, this seems to be quite tough. I'm gonna go with netball.
You're very close. It's actually basketball.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, and again, it's down to the fact that both of those sports don't take like other sports we just talked about with American football, with the sensors in the helmet, rugby with sensors in their gumshields and stuff. It's those two sports that are not taking massive care when it comes to concussion injuries, but sustaining a large head impact from the ball, headering it in football deliberately, and also then accidentally having it hit your head within basketball are the two things, or knocking into each other specifically as well in
Wow.
basketball, because it's a very close game. See, so again, they're the two sports that are currently with the highest concussion rates, because I think lots of the other sports in terms of technology, which is what we're talking about today, have made massive steps to try and minimise the amount of concussion that happens within their sports.
That is really. Can I just say, as a technology piece, that is really impressive. Really, really impressive to see. Because I know from following the concussion story for a long time now, that there just simply wasn't enough being done about it. And now you can see clearly there were organisations out there putting resources into this to make sure they can get the correct data to understand what is actually taking place when there is a concussion injury. Okay. So what's your take on the evolving role of technology in sports? Share your thoughts with us via social media or text us on 07411 191 1062. We'd love to hear from you. Faisal, what sport have you got that has an amazing technological feat that's evolved that game?
I think cricket. I'm not big into sport, but whenever I do watch it, whenever you watch sport on TV, and when the technology wasn't available, one of the key things was that the TV presenters or the TV studio, they'll be replaying it and then showing it, and then that would have an impact on the game.
Yep.
They'll be saying things about the umpires, whether they are competent or not. But I think as media has evolved, the technology in media has evolved. That's where sport is kind of playing catch up.
Cricket's a really good shout. Cricket is just like others as well. Cricket has got a fantastic ball tracking technology, where they're seeing where the bowler is running from, landing where he's placing his feet, the flight of the ball, the bounce of the ball, then when it goes towards the batsman, and where it predicts that where it's going to go next. So whether it's going to hit a stump or not, or and so on. So actually, that's a really good shout. Cricket has got a very, very good technology.
Yeah, I was also thinking whether in cricket they have sensors in helmets and things like that, because I remember watching live cricket years ago, and it was a wicket keeper. This was, I still remember, it was in 1999, and Pakistan were playing, they were doing these practice matches against the counties, and I was in Leicester, and one of their wicket keepers got hit by a fast bowler, and he was completely knocked out. And I just wonder whether cricket has evolved, whether they're using those kind of sensors in helmets of batsmen and fielders and wicket keepers, especially those who field on the slips.
You've actually reminded me of a story. I'll try and take myself back now. 1993, I think it was. We were at secondary school. We were playing cricket, and it was our school versus another school. And it was a match out on our turf, and my friend, he was the goalkeeper. Sorry, the wicketkeeper, and the ball comes in, and instead of catching the ball by having his gloves like this how can you see me if you're listening to me? Your gloves are up close to your chest, so you're going to catch the ball with towards your body. So if it does slip the gloves, it hits your chest. What he'd actually done was raised his hands above his face. Okay, so if whatever happened next,
in front of his face.
In front of his face,
Yeah.
and then what happens next is the ball is coming at pace.
See where this is going.
It travels through the gloves, hits his face, and his nose is splattered everywhere. And to this day, he still has a broken nose because of what happened to him in 1992. It just reminded me of that story. And I'm telling you, there was so much blood.
I'm sure everybody's that's ever played cricket has got cricket stories.
I'm telling
I've
you.
got plenty as well.
Yeah.
Segues nice into your sport technology story.
Yeah, to be honest, I was thinking the same thing as Faisal, the cricket, especially like things like LBW, where you'd argue, was it or not? But with this tech, you can see it blatantly. Yeah, okay, it was, and the slow-mo cameras and all that. But another one is that I quite enjoyed I liked was the golf.
Yeah,
golf.
Golf is fantastic.
The balls are tracked and everything, and also when they go to you go to them ranges to shoot, and you got the virtual reality ones for training. So they use that instead of going out onto the golf course and just keep whacking. When you're doing what do you call them? The first shot you do, I forgot what you call it. But yeah, when you're going for that heavy shot, and they could tell you like, all right, you're hitting it on target or not from lasers and cameras and whatever. So that's good for training, and that's quite good for the sport as well, I reckon. But also, I think is what Joel was on about. I think there's been a lot more done in health-wise for sportsmen people themselves. For sportsmen, men and women, for their health, as in what's good for their bodies, and the long-term effects of that sport specifically. For things like the effects on their joints, their knees, and all this kind of stuff. So
I'm glad you mentioned that, because if you look at some of the major sports here, so football, you'll often see players now wearing this very smart type of top. It's underneath their football jersey. It's like I forgot what it's called now. And it's designed to not just track their heart rates, but how much they've run, all kinds of cardiovascular information, and all that data is going back.
Look at what the astronauts use and all their training.
Yeah.
Or fighter pilots.
Absolutely, but I mean, slightly digressing, but yes, I see what you're saying. but you would often find some of that technology is actually coming into sports.
That's what I mean.
So, the other way around.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
And what these teams are doing is they are tracking this data on a large scale for all of their players. So then not only is it for their health and safety, but it's also for performance. Yeah. So they will say, okay, on average, we expect you to run 100,000 steps, all right? But you're only hitting 50,000 a match. We need you to pick up your performance. And then that's one side of things. But I think the most controversial piece of technology that's coming to football has certainly been VAR, video assistant refereeing technology. So that is step back 1 second. So football had goal line technology similar to Hawkeye, right? So the ball is kicked towards a goal. If it goes, the whole ball has to go over the line for it to be a goal. If it's half the ball not over the line, it's not a goal. And so what that has done is ensured that there is accuracy each and every time. Works flawlessly. Absolutely no issues there, because like Hawkeye, they present you with an image on TV very quickly. But the problem with VAR is not necessarily the technology, it's the implementation of that technology. So at the beginning there was a certain set of rules. If it was a judge for, it's designed for offside, it's designed for foul play in the box to give a penalty and so on. But as the seasons have gone on, so I think it's now third season, I think we're using it now. It's now being used to like the 0.1% on a grid on a line. So if your knee is slightly over that line, it's offside. So my question to you, three of you, is that level of technology being that in-depth, being incorrectly implemented, impacting our enjoyment of sport? And I think it is.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think that the audience might like to chip in on that, whether they've had a game that they perceive as being stolen from them because of certain technology. I think that from a rugby background, they have something that's called TMO, which is very similar. TMO is generally called upon by the referee as a manual process, and then it really just uses, the camera footage, and they roll it forwards and backwards in slight super slow mode to come up with these important decisions. But it can add minutes, minutes onto a game, and it does detract from the viewing experience. It does detract from sort of just the flow of the game, and sort of like the beauty of the game. And I think that sometimes those controversial human decisions from a referee and the linesman is kind of what makes a sport sometimes.
I agree. I should have also added as well, with VAR, if you're in the stadium watching the game live, you don't get to see the replay that we see at home while they're figuring out whether someone's offside or not. So in the stadium, if they've scored a goal, you think they scored a goal. What actually happens then is all the players sort of semi-celebrate and wait. And for me, that's kind of taken away some of that. And obviously, in a controversial situation I'm describing, if it's a clear-cut non-offside goal, it's fine. But it takes away some of that shine as a fan for you to enjoy something that's happening really fast, and all of a sudden it's like, stop, we've got to do this, and then they still get it wrong. Because what's actually happening with VAR is, as the TV pundits are watching this, they are also doing their bit and say, well, how can that be the case? Because it's incorrectly being implemented. So I find as we are getting better, as technology is improving, and all of us being from a IT, software, etc. background, we know if the people who are going to use that technology have not been correctly trained or understand it, then it's never going to be used properly, is it?
The other way is that the system makes a decision, and the referees and umpires just implement that. So rather than them, so the system says X, Y, and Z, whatever it is, the decision. And then the referee just says, right, that's what's been decided and that's what's going to happen.
Well, Mr. AI expert, can you tell me, are we saying we could potentially see AI in football?
Isn't that what I thought that's what I was going to mention as well.
It's not AI, it's humans. Humans using technology.
No, I'm not a massive fan of football. Like first, I don't really watch that much football.
Really?
A fake fan I am.
Yeah.
Fake fan. Yeah.
You've changed your team twice. Tottenham. I remember this.
Can't remember where was that.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I'm talking about is, like when you sometimes watch a game, and sometimes the what do you call them? This commentators, or whatever you call them. This sounds, I'm telling you, I'm not into it. But when they'll give you an example, they'll say, oh, they could have played like this, and then they show on the screen, and they'll show like players on as a numbers or something, and then they'll show, oh, they should have gone to that position and moved the. Isn't that with AI? So it comes up with different scenarios for the managers.
No,
for the training, like to say,
what is sport? I think Joel was touching on this as well. It's losing its
soul,
human soul, feeling. All that type of stuff. It's going to turn into a mechanical thing. And I think what I'm saying is probably an extreme, but 10 years I bet it'll end up like that.
I thought that's what they were using, so obviously not. Yeah,
well, you need to write the code, don't you? Yeah. We've had some interaction online. So this is from Jamal, Salaam and Jamal. He says F1 has really developed from tech-driven safety, for example, virtual safety car. Spot on. Yeah. Absolutely, you're spot on. And in F1's case, I'd probably say it's the most advanced technological sport, actually. Because if you look at the Ayrton Senna days, they wouldn't have had a virtual sim. Now Lewis Hamilton can jump into his exact car in a sim over and over again and perfect. I mean, in fact, we could go one step further and look at esports, right? In esports, you have these guys who play Sony PlayStation games, and they have and Nissan has a PS5 team. And there was a competition, and they had the best drivers.
Isn't that what the movie was based on?
Yeah, and that person became an actual driver in a series of racing. It's because the technology is so close to reality. Yeah. But I guess it's...
I'm not sure about Formula One, though, because the amount of... So it's one thing you driving a fast car, but Formula cars are a different world. That's a
no, what I'm saying is just the technology behind it.
The physical side of it, from what I've read about it, it is very physical.
Yes. So
I don't think it is, but the amount of G-forces that are being put on you, they reckon they lose, I don't know how many pounds of weight in each race.
Yeah, it depends on the race.
They've lost so much weight.
Yeah, that depends on the track. So if it's a hot climate, yes, they will use X number, double-digit kilos in a race, right? But I've been watching Formula One for about 30 odd years now, and all I've seen is an evolution in technology. whether that's what Jamal has just said for us, and thanks for your comment, all the way up until the speed traps, everything from
Halo. I mean, Halo's just saved so many drivers.
Yeah. It worked almost the same year it came out.
Yep, absolutely. And since then, it's saved so many more. There's been so many accidents where cars have gone over the nose of the other car, or they've gone into barriers, and that halo structure has saved the driver from a really nasty accident. I mean, judging by your top tonight, it's good that we've sort of segued onto onto F1. The sim racing side of things that you've talked about, and the fact that the pro drivers can continue to practice the circuits and the teams themselves can actually sort of reconfigure cars to behave differently, how aero packages might change the car and test them outside of real world circumstances as well. So yeah, in terms of tech, I mean, it's just really is second to none in terms of sports and tech.
Yeah, I agree. And just for anyone who doesn't know about the Halo concept, so a Formula One car, previously you would have the driver sat in the cockpit and you'd have nothing above their head or in front of them. They could just see the long nose of the car and see everything around them. Then there was a very serious, I mean, there's been so many of these accidents, but there was a very serious accident that took place and the car flipped over many times and there was a serious injury, and then there was a real push for technology. And I remember the year it came out, and essentially what happened was, in the center of the car, close to where the driver sits, there is like a central pillar, and it has a halo type carbon fiber piece, one piece that's connected to the back of the car, and the design is such that if the car has an impact and it rolls over, no impact is sustained by the driver's head because he's protected from the top. Now, when it first came out, it looked really weird, but I've got very used to it now. But in 2024, there's a camera that they've added. So every single year in Formula One, they add a different type of technology, as in monitoring technology. In 2023 and 2024, they added these really cool high-definition helmet cams, which weren't around before. And you can see how much of a distraction the halo is. So I wound myself back to 2021 or whatever it was, when there was discussion by the drivers saying they didn't want it, but then understood they needed it for safety. And I'm like, how are you driving, so like 200 plus miles an hour, 4 or 5G around a corner, wherever it may be, and you still have to look beyond the halo, and it's so impressive. It really is.
Yeah, they're super skilled. I mean, back in the 90s, you'd have drivers like Brundle. He had a massive accident in Australia. His car was completely written off. He jumps out of it, he runs back to the pits, jumps in the spare car and carries on racing. Wow. But again, nowadays these cars have got, again, G meters in, and the teams know exactly how much G-force has gone through the protective shell of the car and potentially into the driver. And, everything is safety first, racing last kind of thing, with those things. It's incredible how it's moved on.
And the other thing that we haven't touched on, and specifically for Formula One as well, is the different types of drone technology. Now, me and Joel, he's probably not going to remember, but I certainly do. I think it was 2018. We went to a business IT security event in London, and they were showcasing Formula One drones. And they were showing, these were amazing. I can't remember, like $250,000 these drones were, right? And they were using these to film and track Formula One cars at speed. And this thing, I mean, it's like as wide as this desk right now. It's amazing. You probably don't remember, but that was cool to see. So we have tech that's in sport to monitor, but then it's tech that's used to monitor the tech that they're currently using in sport themselves, which is quite interesting, isn't it? I think this, for society though, it's a good thing to see the evolution of tech. Like you mentioned about the helmets, the gumshields, the Hawkeyes and so on, and the vests that footballers are wearing, because this starts to transition into our lives. Because you can then go at some point and buy something like this. So you might have a health condition, but that device that you use was initially adopted for a particular sport.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. Yeah, your wearable, like smart watches that can monitor heart rate. Some watches now have like ECG function, so the new iWatches and stuff have that kind of thing on it. And yeah, it's just a matter of time before more tech trickles down from the professional sports scene into your everyday lives. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, has it always been a case where tech's always like originally been designed for something, and then afterwards, it was found it was found that it could be used for so many other different things.
This is true. This is true. Absolutely, it's the evolution of the humans, isn't it? Absolutely is. Okay.
Another thing I was going to say is worth looking into. It's not a big sport in the UK, but it's baseball. And I was reading about this
Rounders.
Robot
American Rounders.
American Rounders. If you're from America listening, please don't steal our idea. That's our IP.
Last year in minor league baseball, they introduced this robotic umpire. Basically, they rely on the robot umpire to make the final decision, and apparently they're going to introduce that into Major League Baseball this year. So that's interesting. So rather than a human decision, it's be a robot umpire decision.
So that's why you mentioned it before.
Yeah.
You had that up your sleeve.
I did, yeah.
Very, very good. I can see that. I can see that actually happening. When it's certainly in major tournaments, so they tend to trial these things, don't they?
Yeah.
Across these different competitions to see how it would have an impact. But I think ultimately, what we're saying in here this evening is that most tech is great. Some tech is taking away the soul of the sport that we watch or love. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. I think that's a good summary.
So.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, we're heading towards an advert break. We'd love for you to stay with us for the rest of the show. We have some really cool tech tips and stories of the week, so please do stay tuned. And of course, get involved if you have any questions for our AI aficionados sat here in the studio, especially Sham.
What?
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
For the top pizza in Peterborough, visit Top's Pizza, established in 1988 for delicious pizzas with freshly made dough daily. View the extensive and mouth-watering menu online at topspizza.co.uk, then choose from traditional tasty toppings, something different, or create your own with fresh 100% halal meats, salads, veg, and a great choice of sides too. Call into Top's Pizza, 52 Broadway, PE1 1SB. Call 01733 913 775 or order online for delivery or collection.
Peterborough. Who said good quality fried and grilled chicken has to be expensive? At Sam's, we take pride in every piece of chicken that leaves our kitchen. Just one bite of our chicken or burgers is all it takes to realise we are the best. Visit us at our brand new place at 333 Lincoln Road, PE1 2PF. Or order a delivery through Just Eat, Uber or Deliveroo. Sam's, the home of great tasting chicken for over 30 years.
Bite into something wonderfully tasty at Big Mouth, 349 Lincoln Road in Peterborough. Eating in, for takeaway or delivery, Big Mouth now have a delicious new menu full of all your favourites. Crispy fried chicken, juicy smashed burgers, finger-licking peri-peri chicken, handmade pizzas, quality doner meat and so much more. So visit the family-friendly Big Mouth restaurant for fantastically fresh food. Call 01733 201020 or visit getbigmouthonline.com.
Craving authentic Desi flavors? Look no further than Desi Restaurant. From midday until 1 in the morning, enjoy our homemade specialties that will transport your taste buds. Indulge in tantalizing papri chaat and savor the rich Chersi Kadahi. Treat your friends to our fresh 1 kilogram Chersi lamb handi. Plus, get 2 12-inch pizzas for $11.95. Located at 298 Lincoln Road, we deliver from lunchtime until 1 a.m. Call 01733 555 795 now to order and experience Desi Restaurant's flavors.
Satisfy your cravings at Ibrahimi Buffet Restaurant. Enjoy a tantalizing variety of Chinese, Italian, Pakistani and comfort food favourites from starters to desserts. Kids under 5 dine for free, so bring the whole family to our location at 63 Sycamore Avenue. Open every day from 5 p.m. till 10:30 p.m. Call us on 01733 313131 or book online to reserve your table. Ibrahimi-restaurant.co.uk. Every bite is a delight at Ibrahimi Buffet Restaurant.
Whether you visit the Berry Furniture Showroom at 78B Fengate in Peterborough or view and buy online, you'll be amazed at the quality and style you could enjoy in your home. With beds from just £299 and complete 3-2-1 sofa sets from less than £1,000, you'll also be amazed at their wholesale prices too. Plus, there's a 1-year free warranty on sofas and beds, subject to conditions. Find out more, click on Berry That's BERRE furniture.co.uk or call 01733 300 517.
At Cake Inn, all our cakes and slices are freshly baked for that delicious taste. At Cake Inn, we bake 100% vegetarian and halal eggless fresh cream cakes. Delicious flavoured cakes for birthdays and weddings, ceremonies and all other occasions, with free customised messages, even balloons and candles too. Order for delivery or collection from Cake Inn, 489 Lincoln Road, PE1 2PE, and your cake could be ready within 2 hours. Find out more and order online at cakeinn.co.uk or call 01733 496 584.
You're listening to Peterborough's community radio, Salaam Radio. Salaam Radio, 106.2 FM.
We're back with the Tech Factor. If you missed our discussion on sports tech, catch up on our social media channels. Now, we're heading to the second part of our show, which is cool, funny tech stories of the week. So get ready to chuckle as Shamshad, Faisal and Joel share the quirkiest tech tales of the week. So, Shamshad, hit me with it.
Okay, so I've got a couple of them. I'll give one first, and then we'll go around, see if we've got time for another one. But this is more of a sort of like a quick story. I read about this story about how a bakery in Japan helped start a company that finds cancer in people from a bakery. So basically, there was some research done, and it was found that bakeries sell more pastries if they have lots of different kinds, and when they sell them, they sell them unwrapped on display as well, so they look fresh. Okay, so what this meant was for the bakeries, if they wanted to implement this research, was it meant cashiers would have to know like 200 different pastries, the names and the prices, and then bag them up differently and then price them manually and all that as well. So one bakery asked an AI company called BrainCo to automate the service for them. So they manually wrote code to be able to look at images and then identify whether it was for example, a donut or a cinnamon roll or whatever, and then what the correct price was and how to pack it and whatever. It took them 5 years to develop it, and they got an AI that could then total the price of different pastries using cameras to 98% accuracy.
Wow.
Okay, so this is what they got.
Why am I feeling hungry as well? Sorry.
Yeah. Advertisement here, Krispy Kreme did have an offer on for 12 donuts for £12.
Well, other supplies are available.
Yeah. Anyway, So this is the cool part now. So basically a doctor in 2017, after finding out about this and realising it, realised that cancer cells under a microscope kind of look like donuts. Okay, So BrainCo caught wind of this. Okay, when this doctor mentioned it somewhere, so they thought, all right then. So they started using their software to find cancer cells. Okay, and since then, the AI has been used in hospitals to sort pills. So not just AI. Cancer cells, but also they implemented, because other things similar as well. So they used it to sort pills, even detect incorrectly designed bolts in jet engine parts. And this has been so it was like what we were talking about earlier on. It's been the case in a lot of times where technology was originally designed for something else, like we were talking about earlier on, and then it ended up being used for something else as well. So smoke detectors, for example, were invented by a Swiss pharmacist, a guy called Walter Jaeger in the 1930s. He was trying to create a sensor that would could detect poisonous gases. Instead, his device detected the smoke from a cigarette. So that's how then you got the cigarette, the smoke detector.
Wow,
that's an amazing story.
That is, isn't it?
I did not know where the bakery thing was going.
I don't know, but
Cancer bakery. I was like, where's that going? That's great.
But I love the way when you described about the bolts and the donuts and stuff. You can see how the AI is. That is really well done, Shamshad.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, beat that. Come on then, Joel.
Okay, so I'm going to go actually quite similar.
Oh, okay.
Quite similar.
So what are you going then to, like a raisin tart or something?
So this is a bit random, but this came up on my Facebook feed earlier today, and it's an AI-powered smart mirror. And built-in camera, same thing. And what it can actually do is this sort of linked into our sports theme that we've got going on here, is using the camera, it can, if you work out in front of it, it can give you instant feedback on your form. It can count how many reps you've been doing, and then what you can also do is it will actually form a training plan for you. So you'll have a virtual assistant within the mirror
So
itself.
like your own personal trainer?
Yeah, you can see yourself in the mirror, and the AI-powered camera is checking your form and counting the reps and doing everything else that you'd want a trainer to do in front of you.
That is good.
That is cool.
Really cool.
For form is quite important in these
That
kind of
is
things,
cool.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's very cool.
Wow, yeah.
You still haven't beaten Sham though, I'm sorry.
No, I mean,
Listen, hey, Faisal. The pressure
That is
is
quite
on.
cool, though.
I was going to
That would
save
be
this
good to have
one
mine at
to
home.
last.
Oh,
but,
wait.
I'm going to
He's-
do this one
oh,
now.
He's about to destroy us now.
Okay, here we go. Come on then.
Right, an AI-powered barbecue grill.
Wow.
Woo! Okay, he's definitely raised the stakes.
So this is a case
Have
where
you-
technology
have
we never needed, but wow.
Have you ever done a barbecue and you end up burning the food? Or
No,
Yeah,
whenever there's a barbecue involved, he always gives me the meat, so I don't need to do it.
But
Sometimes.
yeah, it's happened. Yeah, but definitely happened.
Sometimes
yeah.
it happens,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
yeah.
Or the steak or whatever you put, lamb chops or whatever, they're not done to the level that you want them. So apparently this thing's got it actually looks at the image and then compares it. Uses the AI to actually see what level it's cooked at, and then obviously it adjusts the heat. And it's got wooden pellets.
Wow.
So rather than using gas or electric,
So it looks
it's
like
using wooden
I
pellets. So
told
the
you
food
earlier I was
tastes
feeling
nice as
hungry,
well.
right? Because of what he said. Now I've got a main and a dessert.
Yeah.
That is really cool, though.
So
It
what,
sounds
it increases the heat
expensive.
itself and reduces it and all that. Kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
okay.
So it won't burn it. It will alert you the
Yeah.
food is cooked or something like that. So you.
So I think doing a barbecue, that is one of the hardest things, is keeping the temperature where you want it with your fuel. So
Yeah,
that
it's-
is really good.
Things like if you're leaving them on for a long time, I don't know,
Yeah.
brisket or whatever it is, if
Yeah.
you're leaving it on for a few hours,
It's keeping the
bar-
temperature even across the
Yeah, and
whole
that as well,
grill,
yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah. So
You know,
that is-
because you
yeah.
end up with warm areas and cold areas, and
Yeah.
if you're doing brisket for many hours, you've got to either have a smart thermometer that tracks through apps and stuff like that,
Exactly.
but you've still got to be there and aware of what you're doing with it. So that's pretty cool.
I'm sorry.
But how much
Sham
does
has
this
still got
cost?
the lead.
How much does that kind of thing? What does it cost though?
I don't know. There's no prices on this thing yet, but it's
15
just.
grand.
I don't know.
Are we about to see Faisal's Barbie?
Chef.
No, it did win the innovation award at CES.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Well,
That-
you could
that
see
is-
that could be implemented in like
Okay.
the next Ninja barbecue or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, other products are available. Can I? The baton's been
Sorry.
passed
I
back
mean,
to
you
you.
could imagine with pizzas as well. So think about, other examples
Yeah.
of cooking food. Just imagine you're cooking food at home on the gas cooker eventually.
What, and then AI cooks it for me.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? I already love this. This is so good. I'm sat here in the studio. I'm using an app. I'm texting you, yo, when I come home, I need this. And it's like, no problem, boss. I go home, bang, it's there. Is that what you're saying to me?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, back to you, current champion, Sham.
Oh, okay. I've got quite a few different stories. I don't know which one to pick now.
He's doing what he's doing. I think
okay.
are you assessing which one's going to keep you in the lead? Is that what's going on here?
I want to keep some for the next time as well. So this one I didn't know existed, okay, until I looked into it and I went down a mental rabbit hole. It's for cat lovers, okay, and it's basically an invention. Like I said, I didn't know it existed, but it is like a robotic cat litter box. Okay, so there's quite a few different. I didn't know about this, like I said. So, but then when I looked into it, there's quite a few companies as well. So it's basically one of them. From what I gathered, we're not supposed to be mentioning brands.
No, it's fine. We can.
Okay, so the one I looked at was by a company called Whisker. Okay, so it's like a circular base and then a round globe-shaped bowl on top of it. Okay, with a large opening. Okay, for the cat to get in and then get inside, and this is where you put your cat litter in it. Okay, now after that the cat's done its business, it exits the device, waits for, and then the device waits for a certain amount of time, and after that the inside of the device spins like like it does in a washing machine.
Yeah.
And what it does, and it's got these holes in it, and somehow it works out how to keep the clean bits of cat litter in the tray, and then the deposits, shall we call them, it gets rid of them, and they go into a compartment at the bottom. Then a bag seals them up, closes them up, and then there it is for you, ready for you to go and check in the bin.
Oh my God, he's on a roll.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
And
I'm sorry, he's on a roll.
So on top of that, it also connects to an app on your phone via Wi-Fi, which will tell you your status and the stats regarding the robot, but also it tells you like, your gas done it, poo.
Oh my God, wow. I don't know what's happened. But wow, Shams is up. That is actually really cool. Is it available now?
There's loads of. Like I said, one was called by a company called Whisker. Yeah. There's another one called the Littlebot. The one I'd recommend from looking into it was one called Littlebot Robot 4. Okay,
Littlebot Robot 4.
Yeah.
That's a tongue twister.
They come with like a company. They come with the usual couple of years of warranty as well. They're not.
All right, you don't need to start selling it now.
They're not exactly cheap as well.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking like the size of a mid-range phone.
Oh,
the price of a mid-range phone, like £500-600. But these are big. They're big devices. You know, like up to your waist, probably a bit higher.
But what's going to happen is one day your cat's going to need to go, and you're going to have to say, no, not right now, because your litter box is updating its firmware. Yeah.
Very good. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not this version.
It's going to go wrong. You know, we've had an update, and
the cat's trapped inside.
Yeah, the cat's now trapped inside and bagged.
Oh dear. And then they're on the phone to Sham for like some sort of IT support, and he's going through this script with them.
Send them in the woods.
Brilliant. Okay, Joe, over to you.
Okay, so I've got quite a cute one, and again it's sport related, and it kind of it really shows that you don't necessarily need the latest and greatest tech to just get fit, be healthy, you know, and live a full and long life. And this is a story that I found about a grandma that has used a Wii Fit for 10 years, every single day. So she's currently, at the time of the article printing, she had used her Wii Fit every day for 4,784 consecutive days.
Wow.
Whoa.
So she'd been on that Wii, and I mean...
How many years is that?
We must remember, you know...
That's quite...
Did you have a Wii back in the day, you know, with the sort of wire? You know, it was one of the first ones that you actually have sort of like a wireless interaction with your TV.
That's why it's so
successful. There's a lot of concussion with that.
Tennis and baseball with that, yeah.
A lot of broken TVs as your remote comes off and flies and breaks your TV. Yeah, so she's done that every day, you know, for the last 10 years. You know, nearly 5,000 consecutive times
really
using
impressive.
that Wii Fit. That's
and
very good.
A great advert for Nintendo.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder how many boards she's worn out during that time. You know, and how difficult they are to get hold of now.
That's very good.
I do remember it was some of them games were quite physically demanding.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We had a Wii Fit board, and you know, there was lots of sort of stepping on and off it kind of things, and lots of balancing games and things like that you could do with it. So yeah, back in the day, doing snowboarding on your Wii Fit board and stuff, you know, you felt you were at the cutting edge of gaming tech. Yeah.
Actually, that takes me into asking you, Joe. You're in a couple of weeks on you're doing something amazing, aren't you? To do with obviously being fit, and you're going to be doing an event. Can you share that with us?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So on 27th of April, I'm doing what's called a Wolf Run, which is a 10-kilometre obstacle course. Doing it with work for charity. We've managed to successfully raise over £2,000 now. So thanks to everyone who's already donated on that as part of Team WaveNet, who I'll be running with. So big shout out to James for helping organise everything and get everything underway for Team WaveNet. Yeah. And
you're going to share a link with us, and we're going to share it on Salaam Radio social media. So if anybody else would like to donate, they can.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. So the charity that we're raising money for is called the Trussell Trust.
Yeah.
And they do great work up and down the UK, helping people who are less fortunate with food kitchens and donations, clothes donations and things like that.
We know the Trussell West. You're right. They've got a network of food banks as well. So absolutely fantastic charity to doing it for. So well done, Joel. And we'll be certainly supporting from our perspective as well. Definitely. And if you're listening, wherever you may be, you'll see it on Salaam Radio's social media. Do get involved. Okay, over to you, mate.
My next one is a tech tip for iPhone users, as I'm an iPhone user.
Switch it on.
So one of the things I noticed was especially in summer, when you're using your iPhone, obviously not while driving, but you know, when you're just using it generally, and you go from sunshine and then you go into shade, and then you go into sunshine, you might find that the display is gone dim and it's not going back to normal brightness. One of the tips for summer is actually turn off that auto dimming, and also turn off True Tone. And these sort of things also will help reduce the, sometimes you get a phone goes too hot, and that's basically because it's gone way too bright in the sunshine. So the key things are, if you're having issues, if you're finding it that it's difficult sometimes, that the brightness has gone down and now it's not gone up or whatever, I think this might be buggy software. So those couple of things, if you just turn those off, that's
great tips there.
It's the opposite of what you'd think. My
Plus it
advice,
saves
my
battery
advice
as well.
would be buy an Android.
It would it?
Yeah, okay.
Typical. Right, okay, you got another story for me?
Okay. Let's have a look. Let me go into my little pool of stories.
Buy an Android. Tech tip for an iPhone: buy an Android.
No,
Shocking.
if you've got that problem, you're talking
I'm
about.
actually going to recommend something about Android in my next one.
Yeah, you're not allowed.
You're
You're not allowed.
I've got Apple stuff.
Not on this show.
I've got Apple products.
Not on this
I'm
show.
only kidding.
Right.
Okay, here's one. Okay, so this one's a good one as well. It's about a company called NEVS and NEVS, I think it was, and it's what they did. It's an electrical vehicle manufacturing company, I think it was, and they made a vehicle called Emily GT.
Okay, already like the name.
So I think it was owned by Volvo. Okay, but what happened was when Volvo went bankrupt and was bought by the EV company from Sweden. Oh, so NEVS was the company that bought them over, and then a Chinese conglomerate giant bought them over called the Evergrande Group.
Oh yeah, they're huge.
Yeah, they bought it then, and then what happened was while this Chinese company was having its own financial difficulties,
Which is
the approximately 350 ex-Saab engineers that were working for them as well. Okay. Yeah, all right. So Volvo bought Saab, did they?
I'm confused.
This is my story.
This is your story, and I'm confused. I think what you need to do is, you need to get it right. I'll come back to you.
No, it's fine. I've got
Okay, you sure?
So basically, this company, it was a whole lot of engineers that worked for Saab. Okay, it was bought by these other companies, and then eventually it was under China, the Chinese massive company.
Okay,
they had their problems. So while this was all happening, these Saab engineers, they were just sitting in limbo. They didn't know what to do because the company didn't know what was going to happen. Is if it's going to carry on, if it's going to go bankrupt, if it's going to, whatever it's going to happen to it. But as engineers do, they didn't sit still. So in the 10 months, they designed the car that we're talking about, the Emily GT. Now it's 175 kilowatt, 424 brake horsepower, 620-mile range saloon car.
What?
Yeah. So now you can get more powerful versions and less powerful versions, and the pricing accordingly. So they basically built a functioning prototype of this car. Okay. And now this was done in partnership with a company called Protean Electric. Okay. Now the cool thing about this, and this is why I want to bring the story up, is like most electric cars, you have a motor in the car itself. Okay. And that's basically how the wheels are turned through that motor. But with their design, how it works is the motors, each wheel has its own motor, and it's in the motor. All right. So what they did was Protean, the company itself, they have used this tech on all kinds of vehicles, but I'm talking about retrofitting it onto old vehicles, like a large Land Rover or Golf-sized cars, military vehicles, and and obviously now and then they've gone on to these electric cars. So the advantage of these is that can be fitted to any vehicle basically. And also because the wheel has a motor, the torque vectoring is really good as well, supposedly.
It's literally you've got a motor per wheel.
Yeah, per wheel. So basically, if one of them dies, you've got 3 motors still going. Or you can cut down if you want it to last longer. Only 2 motors running.
Plus,
or one motor running.
You could probably got 80 mile an hour.
No, it's the prototype.
No. This is they've got a functioning prototype.
Yeah, so it's in prototype.
Oh
right?
yeah. So it's not. Yeah, but if you look it up, you'll see the car and everything. You can see it. It's called Emily GT, I think it is.
Okay. All right. Great.
You can look it up. But bear in mind, so this whole idea of motors in the wheel, it's not the first.
No, it's not.
It's not. Porsche basically invented it in basically 25 years ago, and I'm talking about Ferdinand Porsche. When he was 25, in 1900, before the company was actually formed, Porsche. That's when he come out with it.
Amazing, isn't it? I'm looking at the Saab engineered Emily GT. Oh, wow. Okay, that looks quite cool.
It's a nice
that
looking
looks quite cool. You can see the Saab element to it, though.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's actually quite cool. That is. Joel, what you got for me?
I was going to say on the back of that, actually, when we're talking about F1 and the trickle down technology, electric cars, hybrid cars, and stuff, a lot of that technology is tried and tested within the Formula One environment. So when they had so Formula One introduced what's called KERS, which is like a kinetic energy regeneration system, and that's pretty much what lots of hybrid cars rely on. regen, when to bring power back into the car through braking systems and things like that. And again, the kind of technology that you're seeing within F1 at the moment with their hybridized systems, again, will be trickle down into high-end performance cars and then trickle down into electric cars as well. So there's a lot of high-end tech in F1 that's trickling down into our everyday EVs now that we have.
Interesting.
In terms of other things that I've got just one more here. So just moving away from sport for this one a little bit. This product actually kind of like solves quite a few problems. There's lots of kind of tech comes onto the market, and you just think, yeah, but is that a real problem? What kind of problem is that really fitting? You know, who really has that problem, kind of thing. But this particular one was actually quite good. And I felt it was worth mentioning it tonight. It may have already been mentioned previously, but one of the things that we always talk about, we're talking about AI this and AI that, but when you actually use a AI chat bot that, GPT or Bing or whoever it might be kind of thing, even if you've got smart speakers or smartphone and that kind of thing, they have a limit. So when you're using ChatGPT, when you're using one of your smart speakers at home, you can ask it, what's the weather? Set an egg timer for 3 minutes, play this song, and it has a set number of things that it can reply to you about. Likewise, when you're using something like ChatGPT, you can ask it, write me a letter, write me an email, on this kind of stuff. But what it can't do at the moment is actually perform that action for you. Yeah. So you still have to ask it to write me an email, then you copy and paste it and you put it in your browser and you send your email off, and that's a manual thing. You can say, okay, what's on at the cinema tonight, and it will give you times and films and what time is my favourite film on TV and all this kind of stuff. Well, a product by a company called Rabbit, they've just released a hardware product that actually links to all of your accounts. So if you've got an Uber account or an Uber Eats account or something like that, you can speak to the device and it will actually carry out that order for you. So it will do that next little bit. So that little bit of manual thing that you have to do, you have to book your hotel, book your Uber, book your food delivery or anything like that. At the moment, that's still the manual process that you have to do via an app, via a browser or whatever it might be. So a company called Rabbit has got a dedicated device that has built-in cameras like we talked about earlier, which you can point it at things and ask it questions using a visual input, or you can give it an auditory input and an instruction to say, when's my film on? Now book me a seat. I now need an Uber, and it actually links to your account and will actually do all that process for you and sort everything out for you, which I thought was a good evolution of a problem that does this. There's still a lot of manual interaction with apps and web pages and things.
I've seen the live demo to it. It
seems quite reasonably priced as well.
Really promising.
And this is the other thing. Yeah. I mean,
it's amazing, isn't it?
With no subscription.
Yeah, it's really promising.
You can put a SIM card in it. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. So it seems like a really nice little product to have.
It sounds similar to that other product that came out recently and it was demoed. Well, it's not come out yet, but Marcus Brownlee and
he's ended them.
They showed it. I can't remember what it was.
It's a startup. It was.
Something AI or something. I can't remember.
It was like a silver.
So it looks
the
very
small pin.
Yeah, it looks very similar.
That's a human AI pin.
Humane AI.
That's it.
Yeah. So you wear it as like a badge on here, on your thing. Yeah. So it's separate to your phone like this. But that had like that subscription charge you're talking about, which is mental. Yeah. So you're paying like a ridiculous amount for it, and then you have to pay subscription for it as well. So if you stop the subscription, basically the device is just paperweight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Talking of devices, rumour has it, Faisal, you have a Vision Pro.
I don't have a Vision Pro.
So it's just a rumour then?
It's just
okay, I just thought I'd check.
There's something better I've got.
Do you know what's going to be funny? When he does get one and he comes in the studio, we're going to do a show with him wearing it. So how's it going?
He's got something better. What's this? What's this something better?
Better AR glasses. See, the Vision Pro, it's got good applications, but I think for general...
Ray-Ban.
Yeah, Ray-Ban.
Oh, no, but it's a different... You can't compare it. It's apples and pears.
It is apples. It kind of is apples and pears. I'm not talking about Meta's Ray-Ban glasses, but they've got the new version coming out. So it's an AR version of that.
Oh,
so it will display whatever,
Augmented reality.
Augmented reality, yes, exactly.
Okay.
So, I mean, what are we going to use the Apple Vision Pro for? It's going to be for AR, isn't it?
It is, but also ordering your favourite kebab.
Yeah, you'll be able to do that.
Oh, hold on. You could be wearing it and have that barbecue thing you're talking about. Oh, I've got crazy ideas in my head. Yeah, that's me. Vision Pro, barbecue.
Yeah,
AI.
so these glasses, they'll be priced half the price of a Vision Pro, around $1,500.
They have to be. Everyone was going to go cheaper than Apple.
Yeah.
Even though you've got to. Okay, cool. All right. So what I've gleaned from this evening and listening to you all as well is there's some really, really cool things coming out. Some of them are going to be very, very useful, like what Sham shared earlier on. In fact, the AI barbecue, that's a really cool idea. I think it was only a matter of time. I think this is going to develop further into other things. We're going to see the next decade, I reckon. Within the next decade, there's going to be some of this stuff that we're all going to be using at home. I mean, everyone's got, most of us have got smart devices and smart bulbs and so on at home. Yeah,
it's moving at an insane pace.
I think it's going faster than any of us are expecting. Although we are in the industry, I mean, almost every day I'm speaking to someone about AI. And in fact, even today, there was something going on about AI. And it's what businesses, organizations are looking to use that AI for, and listening to the customers, improving their products, improving things for society. I think that's what we're heading towards. But there are bad players out there, so I'm expecting to see some people using AI for the wrong reasons.
It's like what you were talking about with that device, the Rabbit one. Obviously, you have to give your details. Do you trust them for them to have all your details?
This is true, and it is coming. And oh wow, we've almost come to the end of the show. I have to say this. I mean, this show has flown by. More than anything, it was sham stories about cats and other stuff that he said. Okay, but that's great. Thanks for your company, gentlemen. Thanks for tuning to the Tech Factor. Join us again in 2 weeks for more tech revelations.